Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to one more LinkedIn Live. My name is Juliana Rabi. I am a career coach for remote jobs. And one more live. Happy to have you here. You might be watching it live. So if you are, just say hi in the chat. Let me know that you're here with me sharing this good energy live. Also, thank you if you're watching the recording. Okay, maybe due to the different time zone or your agenda, you're not able to watch live, but you're very welcome to watch the recording of this video. Okay, the topic we are going to talk today is this one: avoid those terrible mistakes if you want to land a remote job. As a career coach, I talk to professionals like you that want to land a remote job every single day. Sometimes I talk to them, sometimes they send me messages on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, via email, so in different channels. The fact is, I do have very often conversations, almost every day, if not every day, with people like you who are considering a career change or landing a remote job. And I notice some mistakes that happen very often, like the most common ones, almost like a pattern, that professionals that are highly qualified, that are, with good communication skills, I look at their LinkedIn profile, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. But still, they make a lot of mistakes. So I condensed the most common, also the most terrible, I would say, mistakes that professionals just like you make when they are trying to land a remote job, and I will share them with you. So the goal is that you know upfront, so you won't fall for the same mistakes. I want to help you in your journey. So this live is going to be very practical. I suggest that you take pen and paper or open a file in your computer to take notes about it. Okay. I just want to make sure that the audio and all the technical part that I need to do from my side here is okay. So if you are watching live, I would appreciate if you could say hi in the chat, and then confirm if the sound is okay, if the video is okay, because I need to do some, let's say, tech checkings from my side just to make sure that everything is working out well. So if you're watching live, please say hi in the chat and confirm if the audio and the sound is good. So we are streaming live to LinkedIn, also to my YouTube channel, and also on Instagram. Yeah, that's exciting. 3 different channels. I really hope this information get to you somehow through one of the channels, because it's important to identify the mistakes that other people made, so you won't make the same mistake. Maybe you also have done the same mistake. I just want to make sure that this is the last time you make those mistakes and you learn from the process. So we have Valerie here from Texas. Hey, Valerie, nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome. If someone is watching live on YouTube, I would also appreciate some hi from there, just to make sure that the transmission is working well there. Okay, yeah, Valerie from LinkedIn. Yes, got you. Thank you, thank you. Um, I will make it very practical. So I'm gonna go through the different mistakes, and I hope that you learn and you can improve the way you job search. I know that in 2024, it's not the easiest time to land a remote job. I know that. So if you're searching for remote jobs, you might be struggling a bit with that, especially if you compare with the pandemic times, right? 2, 3 years ago, it was a different scenario. It was a different context that we are all living. But hey, it is what it is, right? We are here now. It is time to make the most of this opportunity. And instead of saying, oh, the job market is hard, it's very competitive, or nobody calls me for an interview, instead of just complaining about it, let's understand what is behind that. What are the common mistakes that people make? And then you will see how to overcome those mistakes and increase the chances that you actually land the remote job you want, right? So we can complain about the situation, which is fine for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But then it's time to take actions to start doing the things that will help you to achieve the career goals that you have and avoid making the mistakes that most of people make. So I will start my presentation here. Feel free to share in the chat any comments that you have, any questions, okay? Maybe you relate to one of the situations I'm gonna share, so feel free to also comment that. Let's keep it interactive. I like it when you can also, communicate with me, and the way you can do that is via chat, okay? So let me start. I'm gonna do it like this. Yes, I think it's a good way for you to see bigger the presentation that I prepared. And the topic today is avoid those terrible mistakes if you want to land a remote job. So let's go for it. The way I like to think in general is that time is life. Okay, so whatever I'm using my time for, any kind of activity, any kind of friendship, any kind of thing that I do, how I use my time, it's how I'm using my life, right? And when you save time in your remote job search, what you're doing actually is having more time to enjoy your life. You're wasting less time with something that is not very pleasant, right? Job search is not like, oh, that's super fun, that's amazing. No, what is amazing is when you land a new job, when you're living the way you want to live, when you're making a good salary, when you're growing in your career. So if we can save time in the job search, you're actually saving life to yourself. This was a concept that first time I heard about it, my mind was like, boom, time is life. So when I save time, I'm saving life. There was a life change for me. So I wanted to bring this concept to you in case you have never thought about it this way. Okay. Um, you might understand the idea that, yeah, I need to save time in the job search, but maybe you don't know that there are actually more effective ways to land a remote job. Like I have done everything that I knew, and Juliana, still it's not working. So I really don't know what to do next. That's very common. I heard a lot of professionals saying that. Also, maybe you assume that you need to figure it out it all alone. You assume that you need to do it all alone, especially if the previous career change that you made, the previous times you changed jobs or companies, all of that, you did it all alone. So because you did it alone in the past, you might be assuming that I gotta figure it out all alone again. I'm not, able to. It's taken a long time. I'm struggling with that. But you might still be thinking like, yeah, this is something I need to do alone. It's not. It's not. Maybe also you consider that, oh, the ones who landed a remote job, when you see them sharing on LinkedIn that, hey, I'm starting a new job, fully remote, this kind of thing. So you might think that they will never share what they did. They will never let me know. Like they will keep this as a secret. They will, just keep it to themselves how they landed a remote job, what worked for them, the mistakes they made, and all of that. Luckily, it is not like that. And one of the ways I can help you, this is outside of the live, but I wanted to bring this opportunity to you, is helping you to fix your resume. Because I know that a lot of you, when you talk to me, the first thing you mention is, Julian, I need to improve my resume. I need to update my resume. My resume is not good for a remote job. I hear that every single week. So what I did to help you in this process is I have an online course related to resume writing for remote jobs. So how to fix, how to optimize, how to improve your resume to make it perfect for remote jobs, to increase the chances that you're going to land job interviews for remote companies. I have that course. And for the ones watching this live, I created a special discount for you. So I don't want money to be a problem for you. I know sometimes the financial situation doesn't help. So I want to make it easier for you. And I'm giving 10% discount in my course. Okay. You can scan this QR code that you see now. Just grab your phone and scan the code. You're going to be directed to another page where you can book the course. You need to type this code here, 10% resume discount. You need to add that, and then you're going to get the 10% discount. So if you consider that the resume is something that you're struggling with, that you need help with that, you don't know, you tried already to update your resume to improve it and all of that, but you're not landing remote job interviews, this is one way I can help you with my online course for resume writing specifically for remote jobs. So please use this QR code. The discount is valid only until Sunday, the end of Sunday this week. So you need to take action fast in this process, okay? Well, let's keep going here because I also want to share with you the 10 most common mistakes that amazing professionals just like you, they make when they are trying to land a remote job, okay? So there will be 10 things I will share with you. As I said, grab your pen and paper and make sure you take notes and learn from it. I want to keep the chat open, as I said, right? So if you have any comments, if you have any questions and you want to share that with me in the chat, please use this channel. I'll keep an eye on the chat to make sure that I will share everything I prepared to you, but I will also answer your questions if you have any, okay? Let's go. Mistake number one that a lot of professionals unfortunately make when they want to land a remote job is that they they think that I'm ready to accept any remote job as long as it is remote. Right? I don't really care, and this happens especially when you are in the job search for a long period of time, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and then you're starting to feel desperate about it. It's a terrible position to be. I know that. I hear you. So if you have been searching for a remote job for a long time, I know how bad it can feel, how much it affects your self-esteem, your confidence, your energy level in general. And then what happens is that when you reach this stage that you have been searching for a remote job for a long time, you tend to think, I'm going to accept any remote job. It doesn't really matter. I need to pay the bills. I need to, be back to the job market. I'm going to accept any remote job as long as it is remote. But this is a mistake. And it is a mistake because first, the remote companies, they will not hire you just because you want a remote job. You know, it's not enough reason from the company's perspective to hire you. It's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. This is not how things work. You need to meet the requirements for the job you're applying for. The skills, the experience, the background gotta be aligned with what they need for the job, right? The job requirements. And also remember that ideally, right? That's what I fully believe. A remote job or any kind of job should support the lifestyle that you want to have. So if you just accept a job that you hate, for example, you have been working in customer service for 10 years, you hate that, you're done with customer service, you need to land a remote job, but also a career change. It's like, I want to do something different. If you accept a remote job in customer service, an area that you know that you already hate, it won't work out for you. This is not going to support your lifestyle because in 3 months from now, you're going to be searching for a new job again. So please understand that just because a job is remote, it doesn't mean that companies will hire you for it. And it also doesn't mean it is a good fit for you. So you need to narrow down a bit more the way you are searching for remote jobs. Super important. And I talk to a lot of people, they say, any job, Juliana, do you have any job for me as far as it is remote? No, that's not a nice way to go. This is a mistake. You're going to regret it later. And I know that based on clients who accepted any job, the first remote job that appeared to them, and then a few months later, they were hiring my services to help them to change their career. So pay attention to it. I don't want you to make this mistake, okay? Also, mistake number two that I see among professionals who want to land a remote job is that they assume that the most qualified professionals will land remote jobs. Let me read that again because it can be tricky, right? Assume that the most qualified professionals will land remote jobs. In other words, what I'm saying is you don't need to be the best one in your area, in your industry to land a remote job. Whoa, whoa, really? Yes, yes. I know this is counterintuitive. This is not very logical. So mistake number two, you need to kind of, okay, let me see if I understood right. But that's right. You don't need to be the best one, the most qualified one, the one with more years of experience, the one that has a very, very impressive resume to land a remote job. It's not only the best professionals in their industry, in their sector that land remote job. This is a life changing because when I realized that, I was like, wow, so of course I need to be good, but I need to do other things also to compete and to actually land a remote job. So professionals who land a remote job, I identified some common things among them, okay? They have more visibility to remote companies. So remote companies know that they exist and they have the right strategy to guide their remote job search. You might be great at what you do, but if remote companies don't know you exist, they will never interview you. They will never consider you as a good option. They will never talk to you. So nothing is going to happen. You need to be part of the ecosystem. You need to exist for the remote companies. That's the first thing. And once you exist for them, once they know that you exist, you need to have the right strategy to share the right message, to communicate with them in the right way, to show your skills in the best way as possible, to move ahead in the recruitment process in a way that keeps showing you as the best option. So forget about, oh, I'm not qualified enough. If I had 10 years of experience, if I would speak the third language, it's not about that. I mean, you need to meet the minimum requirements for the job, obviously. Let's keep things real here. But visibility to remote companies, and the right strategy. Those two things, they are key elements for you to land a remote job. So don't blame, oh, I wish I have that certification. Oh, I only have 5 years experience. It's not about that. It's about the strategy and visibility to remote companies. Okay, please understand that that's going to change a lot the results you're going to have in your job search. Let's go to mistake number 3. If you have any comments, if you're watching live, you have any comments, feel free to use the chat to make them comments. Maybe you're identifying yourself in one of those 2 mistakes that I shared already. That's normal, okay? If you identify yourself with those mistakes, it's okay, because as I said, I collected the most common mistakes. So there is actually a high chance that you will see yourself reflected in one of those mistakes. The question is, what are you going to do from now on, right? To change the situation. That's the most important question. So let me know in the chat if this resonates with you, any of those mistakes I shared already. I want to go to mistake number 3, also important and also extremely common, because some people say, Juliana, I have been doing what everyone else is doing. So all my friends are, doing those things. I'm doing the same thing, but it's not working. So if you just do what everyone else is doing, you probably will not land a remote job. And let me tell you what everyone else is doing, right? What normally people tell me when I say, so what are you doing actually when you're trying to land a remote job? And then they list the things. It includes mainly, I use the easy apply button on LinkedIn, right? You know that blue button that you have in some job offers that you can click, and then it just asks for your resume, and then you apply. It's a fast way to apply for jobs. This is a mistake. If you're just applying for jobs using the easy apply, that's not the way to go. Also, the spray and pray technique. I love this name. I mean, I find it funny. I don't love it. I hate it, but I just find the name funny. The spray and pray is when you apply for as many jobs as possible. I don't know, 10 jobs per day, 15 jobs per day. And then you just pray, like just wait that one of the companies will contact you back, right? It's when you focus more on quantity more than quality. So you just, applying to as many remote jobs as you find, and you're just waiting for companies to contact you back. Spoiler, normally it doesn't work. This is not the most effective way to land a remote job in 2024, okay? Also, some people tell me, I'm casually searching. I find this interesting, this expression, casually search. It's like I'm not fully committed to the job search, but I want to land a remote job. So like once a week, Saturday afternoon, I just, start checking remote jobs, check LinkedIn, whatever. So they're not fully in, they just do a little bit, and then they blame the market, the companies, everything, because they are just casually looking, okay? Nothing good will probably happen if you're just casually looking for a remote job. And then another mistake, this is extremely common. You have one resume, you wrote at some point, maybe 5 years ago, maybe before you land your previous job. In the past, you wrote one resume, and then you use that same resume to apply for every single remote job you want to apply. If you're doing that, that's not the way to go. You should not use the same resume to every single remote job you're applying. So this is what everyone else is doing, or let's say most of people are doing. And if you're doing any of those 4 things, probably you're not having very good results in your remote job search, right? If you are doing that, let me know in the chat. I mean, there might be some exceptions, very few, but most of the job seekers that I spoke with and that are doing those 4 things, the easy apply on LinkedIn, the spray and pray, the casually searching, and just like one resume to all remote jobs, they are not achieving the results they want. So watch out. This is common, but the fact that everyone else is doing it doesn't mean it is the right way, doesn't mean it's gonna bring you the results you want, okay? So watch out for that. Instead of that, just to bring you some actionable steps to change the situation, to be like, okay, Juliana, I understand what I should not do. So what can I do instead? Let's see that. What can you do instead? Be specific about the remote job you want, okay? Not any job, like choose the ones that you like more, that you have more experience, that you feel more prepared to do the job, that you're particularly interested in. So narrow down the kind of jobs, kind of remote jobs you're applying for. Also, try to understand, try to map the reality of the job market. Okay, so you need to understand what is going on in your industry. Are there remote positions for that industry? What are the job titles? What are the remote companies that hire for my kind of job, my industry? So you need to understand that. That's going to save you a lot of time later. Understand the real requirements. As I said before, the mistake number one is like, just because a job is remote, it doesn't mean that the company is going to hire you because you want a remote job. You need to meet the requirements, understand the core requirements, the requirements for the job, and then decide if it makes sense for you to apply for the job or not. Instead of just applying, I not even read the job description, I don't care, I just apply. No, understand the requirements and then reflect if you meet those requirements. You don't need to meet 100% of the requirements. I like to use the 70% rule. So if you meet 70% of the requirements, you're good to go. You can apply for the job. But if you meet less than that, most likely nothing's going to happen. Company will not invite you for an interview and so on. And also maximize your transferable skills. So when you want to change industries, when you want to change jobs, you don't need to go back to university and study for 5 years, take another, bachelor degree to be able to change jobs. You can use the transferable skills, the things that you know how to do in one industry, in one job. You can use that, transfer that to a different context, to a different kind of company. Extremely important that you identify the transferable skills that you have that meets the company's, the job requirement, and that you showcase that in your LinkedIn profile, in your resume, in your networking approach, and in your interview replies. Okay, so those 4 things, if you follow that, you're going to be much more prepared than the ones who are just, doing what everyone else is doing to land a remote job. I don't know if it makes sense to you so far. It's a lot of information, I get it. So if you're watching live, if you want to let me know in the chat, feel free to let me know if you're if this is clear, if it you resonate with any of those mistakes so far, if you have an example to share or any comment from your side. Okay, I'll keep going here because I said 10, right? This is number 4, mistake number 4. I mentioned that briefly before, but I wanted to put it separated here because this is very, very common. And maybe you also thought about it before. Assume, take for granted, like believe that you must invest in a very expensive education, an MBA, a 6-month course, course in an international university to be able to land a remote job. And also, like, you need to do a lot of courses and certifications and all of that just in case. So you assume that what you're missing in your like the problem that you have, the reason why you're not landing a remote job is because you don't have that certification, that specific course, because you don't have an MBA, because you don't have a PhD, and all of that. This is common, this happens, and change your perspective about it. Okay, it's not only about the job title, it's not only about the certification. One more title that you have is like the experience you have, how you appear to remote companies, how you showcase that you're a good fit for the job. So I'm very pro studying and learning new things. I'm often like doing courses and certification, all of that. So it's not that I'm against that. I'm not. Super pro. You keep learning and growing and like being the best professional that you can be. But it's not only the next certification that you're going to get that will help you to land a remote job. There are other things that you can be done in parallel to it. Okay. And also, like, if you're going to pay a very expensive MBA, you're going to study for 1 year, 2 years, and then you're going to start try to land a remote job. I think you're wasting time. I think you can start now with the skills you have, with the studies you have. You don't need to wait until you finish that MBA. You might not even need that MBA to apply and land a remote job. Okay. Mistake number 5. This one is very common also. You suppose that you can only work for remote companies in your home country. Okay, like in the country you're back, right? You're born, and then you assume that, oh, this company is from a different country. That's it. I won't even bother to apply. They will never hire me. Like there is no they won't hire someone that is not from the same country and all of that. Who said that? This is not true. So please change your mind about it. Remote companies, one of the best things about remote companies that they can hire people from different countries, right? So they amplify the options that they have to hire people. And of course, it amplifies to you also the options of companies that you can work for. So please let's separate remote company that is based or registered in my country is not the only option for you if you want to land a remote job. So this is not correct. I will say this is important. Pay attention here. Uh, Most of the remote jobs and remote companies, they will have some kind of restriction when hiring people. Okay, this is a fact. So sometimes you gotta be in one country to work for that company. Sometimes you need to be in one state. Sometimes you need to be in one time zone. So let's imagine you need to work London time zone. So you can be in London, you can be in Portugal, you can be in some places in Africa. So sometimes it's the time zone, okay? Sometimes they say like time, like this time zone, 2 hours further, 2 hours behind. So still some time restriction. But don't assume that you can only apply to remote companies that are registered in your country, in your home country. That's not correct, okay? There are remote companies, luckily, that you hire people from anywhere, from different countries. Maybe not all the countries in the world, but they hire from, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 different countries. So your options like get much broader than that. And to do that, you need to be open to consider remote companies that you have never heard about. So you might know before 5 remote companies. Maybe they appear in your LinkedIn feed. Maybe you have a friend that works there, friend from your country. So you might have a few remote companies in your mind now that are more familiar to you. But open your mind to consider also remote companies that are not you're not familiar yet. Okay, and what you do when you find those remote companies you have never heard about, you have no idea how they operate, please read the job description carefully, okay, to understand the criterion they have, the requirements they have, because it can be a remote company that is registered somewhere else, let's say a remote company in the US. And then when you read the job description, there might be some restrictions. You got to be living in the US, you got to be in California, but maybe there are no restrictions about it. So open your mind to different remote companies, the ones that you might have never heard about, because as you start knowing more the reality of the remote companies and expand your knowledge about it, I'm sure you're going to bump into remote companies you didn't know they exist. In this case, when you find a job description that seems like a good fit for you, read carefully what they say, what are the requirements, if there is any kind of restriction, and then you decide. So please don't assume that it's only remote companies that are based in my country, or I can only apply for jobs in companies. I said it better here. Don't suppose that you can only work for a remote company in your home country. That's the idea. Okay, this is a mistake. Although there are restrictions when companies hire people remotely, the geographical one is not always there. And the geographical one doesn't mean that you can only apply for companies in your country. Okay, so open up your perspective. That's good because it gives you more companies to consider, right? Then we have mistake number 6. I don't know what happened to the photo here. There was a nice photo here, it disappeared. Yeah, mystery here. But anyways, mistake number 6 is when you take for granted, this is very common also, that if you land a remote job, you're going to need to sacrifice your salary. You're going to have very basic or no benefits, and you can only land junior positions. So some people come talk to me and they say, Julian, I would love to work remotely. I would really appreciate the flexibility, but I'm a senior professional. I'm in a certain stage of my career that I have a very good salary, I have good benefits. I can really provide for my family like that. So I don't want to sacrifice that to land a remote job. And then I always say, like, who said that a remote job is always lower salary, no benefits, and junior position? This is a myth. Okay, this is not correct. There are remote jobs that pay. I got some examples here that pay a decent salary, a good salary, maybe even a higher salary than you have now. Benefits, there are amazing benefits that remote companies can offer you. And there are like CEO positions, chief of marketing positions, like very high positions that are remote. So it's not only junior position, it's not only low salaries, it's not only lack of benefits or very basic benefits. Again, you will need to check case by case, obviously, right? To see if the minimum salary you're looking for, if that company meets that requirement, if the benefits offered meet your need. Of course, you're gonna need to check to review, right? Every case. But don't assume that it's only junior position, only low salary that remote companies offer, because that's not true. This is a wrong assumption that will actually put you out of the game of improving your career and landing a remote job and making more money and grow professionally, because you are making the wrong assumption. So this is not true. Don't take for granted that if you are going to work remotely, you need to sacrifice your salary, the benefits, and all of that. I have a lot of clients who not only landed their first remote job, but they also increased their salary, like they made more money in the first remote job they land. And sometimes they also got a promotion. So they went to a different position and a higher salary. So all those things are possible. Of course, there are entry-level remote jobs. Of course, there are remote jobs that pay a lower salary than the one you're making now. I mean, of course, this is also true, but it's not the only reality. So please remember that, okay? Mistake number 7, this one I feel very sorry about it, because sometimes the scans can be like really good and really professional. I also have people reaching out to me and they share like the prints of the emails or the LinkedIn message. And people who are scamming, like false remote jobs, they are getting very good at it. Very good, very professional. The way they approach, and they use sometimes like companies' email, it's like crazy. But I want to, bring it to your attention, because although sometimes it is difficult to identify a scam or a fake remote job, sometimes it is easy. So you need to pay attention to it. I highlighted some red flags here for you to make sure that at least those mistakes, those things, when you see that in a remote company, you already, activate your red flag and you're like, this is looking very suspicious. So if, for example, the company doesn't have a website. What company doesn't have a website nowadays, right? That's extremely suspicious. Or they don't have a LinkedIn page. You search for them on LinkedIn, and they don't exist. Watch out for that. Also, you're approved with only a single interview. I have even seen like you fill up a form, you just write down like a form, and you're already approved. Very suspicious that, okay? Don't commemorate, oh yeah, I'm celebrating because it was very fast. Well, maybe it was too fast, okay? Also, like they ask you to pay to make the interview, or to, I have heard like, this fee is to cover the consultant, we are charging you to cover the interviewer, the recruiter fee, but we're going to pay you back that, or you need to pay upfront to receive your laptop. So they already sent you like a fake job offer. Now to receive your laptop, you need to pay, but we're going to pay you back in your first pay slip. You shouldn't pay at all for anything if you're applying for a remote job. So please, if there is any money involved, that's not right. That's not how it should be. Sometimes a lot of typo mistakes in the job description, in the job offer, in the emails that you receive. So a lot of people will use like Google Translator, and you can see it's just like it feels off. It doesn't make any sense, the text. That's also a red flag for you when you read a job description with a lot of typo mistakes. If it feels too good to be true, the salary is too high, the conditions are amazing, it's just like 10 hours per week, you're going to make millions, probably it is not true, okay? So if it's too good to be true, probably it's not true. And also, apart from being rational and check specific things, I like to consider my gut feeling, my intuition, and I invite you to do the same. If you just feel there is something wrong, it's not clicking well, it looks weird, I will suggest double check the other items to try to confirm, but also listen to your gut feeling. That's also very important. So those are some red flags for you to pay attention. But as I said, some people are really approaching job seekers in a way that is almost difficult to identify it is a scam. So you need to be very alert to it, okay? Pay attention to it. Mistake number 8 is that you ignore the importance of your online presence. Maybe you don't ignore, but you minimize. You're not really putting enough attention to it. Okay, so you're not uh, given the importance that you should give to your online presence, because remote companies will search for you online, on LinkedIn, on their database, on the job board that you applied for. They will, like, there will be a lot of online checking about you if you're applying for a remote job. So I have some questions for you to rethink about that. What about LinkedIn? Your LinkedIn today, is it showing your best version online? When was the last time you updated your LinkedIn? Do you think that if someone checks it now, they will get the real picture of you, or your LinkedIn is like boring and incomplete and not really, you not even know what last time you added something there? So LinkedIn is extremely important for you to have it updated, showing your best version online. Same thing about your resume. Like, does it make you look like the best candidate available? We are facing times with a lot of competition, right, among job seekers, especially the ones searching for a remote job. So your resume can be a deal breaker between like getting an interview or not getting an interview. Remember, I mentioned the offer, the 10% discount offer. Go for it. This is one of the important things that you're going to need. Not only that, but this is one of the important things that you should take care of. If you're going to send a cover letter, if it's a mandatory requirement, some case you have to send a cover letter, right, to move forward in the process. Sometimes you just decide to do it as an extra thing. Is it like a specific cover letter to that position, that company, or are you using a generic one that doesn't really make much sense for that position? So remember, your online presence is extremely important. If you're not making the most of it, you are just putting yourself behind other candidates, other professionals who are paying attention to it. So let me put this slide again, because it's extremely important that you do not ignore the importance of your online presence. Super important, this, okay? Mistake number 9 is, yeah, this is almost funny, because um, from the outside, when I see it, I was like, are you kidding? But I know it happens. That's why I brought it to you. So you say, like, you assume, you believe that you don't have remote work experience, even if you worked from home during the pandemic, maybe for 6 months, maybe for 1 year, maybe even more, right? So if you had any working from home experience during the pandemic, this is something you want to highlight in your resume. Yeah, Juliana, but in my contract, it doesn't say it's a remote job. It doesn't matter. Yes, Juliana, but before I was working in the office and now I'm back in the office. It doesn't matter. If you work remotely from home for one period of time, maybe during the pandemic, maybe after that, please make sure that you mention that, because this is amazing, right? This is a good thing for you to mention. I totally know that working from home is not the same as working remotely, especially if we consider the working from home during the pandemic. That's not like working remotely is much more than that, but it counts. Still, it is something that you want to highlight in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile, in your interactions with people during the job interviews. Okay, so uh, make the most of your marketing materials. What I call here marketing materials is the LinkedIn, the resume, and the cover letter. Okay, make the most of them. Share the learnings that you had during the period of time that you're working remotely. Okay, talk about it. What did you learn? Which skills did you develop? What IT tools did you start using? Now you use Slack. Now you use Zoom. Now you use Asana. I don't know which kind of new tools you had to learn and use because you were working remotely for that period of time, right? And also, very important, make it clear that you not only had some working from home experience, but you want to keep working remotely, because some people don't want. That's fine, right? Some people are happy going to the office or in like a hybrid environment. That's fine. But if you want to work remotely, make it very explicit in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile. In my course for to write a remote resume, the one I'm offering, the 10% discount, I have a document actually that you can copy and paste specific ways you're going to show in your resume and your LinkedIn profile that you want to keep working remotely. That's amazing, because the recruiter will see, oh, this person has some previous experience working remote and the person wants to keep working remote. So it's like a great match. So please mention clearly that you work remotely for a certain period of time. Don't be shy about it, and don't assume that because my contract was not remote since day one, whatever remote experience I had is not valid. It is extremely valid, and you should be speaking aloud and clear about it in all your marketing materials and also in the conversations you have with people. Okay, very important that. And then mistake number 10, last but not least, um, giving up when you start receiving no's. Um, I know this is hard, especially if you have been searching for remote jobs for a long time. I speak to people who have been, applying and applying and applying for remote job for 6 months or more. So I can see even in their face, even in the way they are communicating, how devastated they are. And I totally get it. It is hard when you are rejected in a job. I have been in this position. Of course, I applied for jobs in the past. I remember how sad it is, how disappointed it is when you receive a no, especially if it's a job that you like really wanted, or you took the time to, tailor your resume, write a specific cover letter. So the more like expectation you had about that job, the harder it is to receive a no. So I totally get it. I understand it's sad, it hurts, it affects your even your like self-esteem in the process. But if you give up when you receive no, you are saying no to yourself. You're closing the door for another remote job that might be just like a few applications, a few connections away. Okay, so if you are able to be persistent in the process, if you have persistence, and if you have the right strategies, you will achieve the results you want. It's a matter of time. Sometimes it takes longer than we expected, than we planned. I know. I wish there was like a magical way to speed up things that are not. But I know that persistence and the right strategy will lead to you achieving the results you want. Okay. If you are doing the right thing, long enough, you will get there. It's just a matter of time. Sooner or later, you're going to get the job you want. So when you also are learning from the process and you are making the adjustments, that will make a difference. So that's what I do with my clients. We work together and they come to me and they say, Juliana, I'm just being invited for, let's say, very junior positions. I'm a senior professional. There is something wrong in my resume. There is something wrong in my LinkedIn profile that is attracting only junior positions. Okay, so we make the change and the person apply again, and we will start having better results. Or when I'm having conversations with people, they are not contacting me back. Okay, let's refine the way you approach people. Let's refine your network strategy. So having a strategy, doing it long enough, and also refine the process on the way is what will give you the results you want. So I totally get you receiving a no, be rejected, or even be ghosted, right? When recruiters just disappear, they never reply back to you. That's horrible. I know it. But don't give up with that. Keep going and refine the way you're searching for jobs, because that's how you're going to achieve the results you want. Okay. This was mistake number 10 that I shared. And on a more bright side of the story, to end on a positive note, right? Because we spoke a lot about the mistakes. I believe and I see that with my clients that this is a great time to land the remote jobs. I had only in March, I had 4 clients who landed remote jobs. Only March, only last month, right? We just finished March. I had 4 clients who landed remote jobs. So I know it is possible. I know it is a good time. I know there is competition. It's hard. I know that, but it is possible. And I have examples from my clients who landed and others that are interviewing for remote jobs right now. Okay. Shift your focus instead of complaining and paying attention to the companies who want to bring people back to the office. This is happening, but shift your focus to the ones that allow you to have the flexibility that you want, the flexibility that you need. Okay, companies that are right now hiring for remote positions, focus on this. It's going to be a better use of your time and your energy. Okay, and if you want to make a small step today and say like, okay, Juliana, you convinced me. I was making a lot of mistakes. I want to start fixing that. This is one way. Okay, if you want my help to do that, I created a course. It's an online course that I explain step by step every single thing that you need to have in your resume, mistakes specifically on the resume, copy and paste material for you to make your resume writing easy. So the resume template I use with my clients, the resume template they use to land like several remote jobs and job interviews, everything is in this course. I'm giving a 10% discount only until Sunday, so only the next 5 days. So 5 days counting with today, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yes, 5 days counting from today. Make sure you scan this QR code with your phone, and you're going to be directed to the page with all the information about the course, everything that is included. And you need to type the discount code, the 10% resume discount, to get the 10% discount, okay? There is also a 7 days guarantee for the course, meaning that if you buy the course, start watching the videos, the material and all of that, and you don't like it, you can ask for the refund. So I'm so sure you're gonna love the course that I put this refund because yeah, this course was tested already. I have a lot of people who wrote me saying, Juliana, I landed my remote job and several interviews after I did your course and I implemented everything. So this is my invitation to you. I want to help you. I want to make it easier for you. I know that landing a remote job is not easy, but if you have some things in place, like a good resume, the journey is going to be much, much easier. So this is my invitation to you. The 10% discount is only for the next 5 days, counting from today. Okay, so go ahead, check it. This could be the first step, a right step that you're going to take today to stop making the mistakes that others make often when they try to land a remote job. Okay, so thank you for being here live or watching this video. Thank you for your time, your attention. As I said at the beginning, time is life, so you shared a bit of your life with me here. I really appreciate that. I hope you could take a lot of learnings and actionable steps about how to avoid those horrible, terrible mistakes that people make when trying to land a remote job, and that you're feeling more prepared, more equipped to land the remote job that you want and you deserve. Okay, I'll see you soon in my next live, in my YouTube channel, in one of my posts. Let's keep in contact. Have a nice day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Take care.